Hello folks, good to see you. David here with another video. And sorry, it's not a crafting one, it's actually another different kind of video. Because something unexpected happened. I didn't actually realise it, but YouTube flagged the fact that I had posted 100 videos with the last short that I did. So that was a milestone in and of itself. And then not so long after that, I hit over 200 subscribers. Go me! So yes, I am obviously well aware of the fact that I have a very small channel and a very small following. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. All that aside, obviously I'm never going to be a multi-millionaire of the likes of Mr. Beast by doing this. Why do I do it? Well, because as far as I'm concerned it is now part and parcel of my hobby. And if folks like you get something out of it, then all the better. So anyway, because those two things happened, I thought it wouldn't be the worst idea to actually take a look back and see how far I've actually come. So this one is going to be a reactionary video. I will be reacting to myself back in the day when I first started, to see how far I've come, to see what a mess I was making of things. So yes, please indulge me and let's take a walk back down memory lane. So why did I start this channel in the first place? Well, it's all the wife's fault, you can blame her. No, seriously, I will get to the video that actually started everything off very shortly. But back in January of 2021, I was getting back into the hobby and looking to start making some stuff for our games of D&D. And one of the things that I noticed was that all of the YouTube videos that I was looking at unfortunately made use of pink polystyrene, which you used to be able to get over here in very limited quantities, but you can't anymore, not without a builder's license for some reason. So unfortunately all of those videos were of no use to us, they were out of my reach. And to be perfectly honest, whenever you see crafters around the world posting videos, that is exactly their go-to material. I had to look for an alternative. I figured that if I was hitting those kind of problems, then it may be useful to share with a very limited niche an even more limited range of alternate products that could be used for crafting. And that's why you'll see me use things like core flute and cardboard and things like that, because I just don't have access to that mainline foam that everybody else uses. And even if you go back to my very first channel intro video doing dungeon floor tiles, it was core flute and card. So what I can say is that one thing that you are hardly ever, unless they change the supply chain over here, going to see me using XPS foam in any of my builds. Sorry. But enough of me waffling on. What I'm going to do, I will put up a couple of clips of old videos, react to them, probably with absolute horror. If you want to see the original one, I will leave the link up top if you really want to go back and watch those gong shows of early videos. Some of them are alright, I guess. But I will show it on screen and you will see me, yeah, reacting to my own stuff. First off the block is the one that actually got it all started, and as I say, this was the wife's fault. One of the things that I saw in a meme on the internet was what exactly had the party done that would prompt their dungeon master to drop a Sharknado on them. Now, Sharknado is a big thing around our place. I personally think it's one of the best movies that's ever been made. For some reason the rest of the family disagrees, but I really wanted to make one. And the wife said, well, why don't you film it? I did. It's actually the third most popular, if you want to call it that, video on the channel. It was certainly the first one that I filmed. The camera quality is absolutely abysmal, because I didn't have the camera rig I have now. It was a little handheld job. Alright, here goes nothing. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now today's video is a little bit special. It is as the... Oh my word, I looked far younger and certainly had far less hair back then. They say where it all began. And if you want to blame anybody, blame my good lady wife for that. She's the one... See, I told you it was her fault. Who had the suggestion of me making videos and sharing it with people and showing how I did my crafting. So it's all her fault. Now, this was back in the day where everything was done in the dining room, and obviously, yeah, I guess I've become far more relaxed doing filming out in the games room. God, I was stiff. Now, I have an apology to make. The camera work isn't the most brilliant. The footage ran to about 2 hours and has been heavily edited down, and it was... That's certainly one thing that I've tried to change. You don't need to see us cutting everything out or gluing absolutely everything together. You guys are sensible and you can get the gist. I certainly know that I've tried over the years to cut down on the length of the videos, because, I mean, who wants to listen to an old fart like me go on for hours and hours? It wasn't a tutorial as such, it was realistically, I guess, a video diary. But I've managed to splice it and I've done a voiceover, and there's some more advanced techniques in there that you may be able to pick up on. But I hope you enjoy it. The finished piece has not seen the light of day. My players have not yet seen it. And... yeah, that's true. I still haven't dropped it on them. There's a couple of people that are subscribers to the channel that are part of my gaming group, and they know it's coming. I know that at least a few of them do watch this channel, and I know I'm going to get told off when we next meet. That's if they don't leave massive amounts of comments down in the section. But here you are. You may consider it to be more of a monster or an encounter, and what's it doing on a terrain channel? As far as I'm concerned, it is simply a water feature. That's a very good point. The whole idea was that it was going to be a terrain channel. Originally it was called Minimalist Terrain as opposed to the Minimal DM. I changed that because obviously when you get a decent piece of terrain, it can lead to adventure ideas. You've certainly seen that in some of my later videos like the Dragon's Lair and things like that. But no, that was not the original intent, and I've certainly branched out into things like figure painting and kit bashing and things like that. However, carry on. Getting straight into it. First thing is to sort out a base. Now I've got an old piece of MDF that I was going to use for another project, but I've drilled a hole in it and I'm using a bamboo skewer for the main sort of supporting structure for the... yeah, definitely the sound quality has changed dramatically over the years. I will scrub through an awful lot of this stuff because, yeah, I mean, this one in particular is over half hour long. You do this using the actual base, just making holes so that when it actually gets fitted onto the rest, then I'm not putting too much pressure on the model itself. All the holes have been pre-done sort of prior to the construction part. Oh. The royalty-free music. Oh God. And then it's a good old hot glue gun. And essentially, I'm simply going to use the hot glue gun as a kind of 3D paintbrush. So here you can see that I'm sort of like doing lines for the wake of the Sharknado, is it? Yeah, I mean that's certainly a technique that I've kept up, using hot glue as a sort of almost really rough 3D printer. And there she is, ready to intimidate my players. So here is the finished piece in all its glory, ready to take to the table. Yeah, so that would have been back before I actually started taking photos and showing that of the finished pieces. That's another change that's happened. It was fun making this one. Like I said, I'd wanted to do it for quite a while, and I can't wait to see the rest of my players' faces when they see this video and when this thing finally... Standard vlogger's nightmare. Most of the time we use a sort of picture viewfinder on larger cameras, which is off to one side, and an awful lot of people tend to be under the impression that if they're actually looking at the picture, that's the way it's going to come out. You've actually got to look at the lens. I had yet to learn that particular trick, or at least get used to it. Yeah, I think that's about enough for that one. Alright, what do we got next? This is a video which actually surprised me. It is the most viewed video on the channel, and funnily enough, I can always tell from looking at the analytics when school teachers over in the UK have been setting homework for their kids, because for some reason it looks as if they are all going to YouTube and typing in Iron Age Roundhouse School Project, because this one's way up there in the search parameters. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, good to have you here. Today we are going to be trying to make a Iron Age Roundhouse. Ideal for school projects, also good for historical wargaming. Yeah, you can tell that I was starting to go through the hairy phase. We've got a span of a good couple of centuries where these things have been used. So yeah, I need to redo this video. If kids are using it as part of their homework, then I guess I need to go and do a bit more research, maybe start off with a bit more of the history of them, and, you know, actually help the kids out. Plus, the construction on this one wasn't the best. It didn't stand the test of time. I'm sure I could do a far better job of it this time, and yeah, I really do owe it to the kids over in the UK to do a Mark II so they can actually finish their homework properly. In terms of buildings, pretty simple construction. In terms of models, maybe it's not so much. There's going to be a few advanced techniques that we're going to be going through, so do pay attention. But otherwise, this is an experiment. It's one that I've been... You can obviously tell that I was far more relaxed doing this, obviously getting into the swing of things. Wanting to do for absolutely ages. So as I'm going through, I'll take you through some of the ideas and thought processes and planning. Do I have to wave me hands around so much? Would I be mute if you tied me hands together? So, what does a roundhouse look like? Well, here's a picture. A few obvious things. There's upright posts that get sunk into the ground. Yeah, okay, so one of the tips that I picked up along the way was giving the audience a little more of an idea of what the finished project was going to look like. I hadn't by this stage obviously done sort of like my more regular intros where you do see a setup one of the finished product, but hey, at least it was an advancement. Time to introduce you to a new material. This is anti-slip matting. Experimenting with multi-camera angles, I went away with that. It was too difficult, to be perfectly honest, especially trying to match up the sound. No, I have not murdered any hamsters. Neither have I hijacked the wig of an ex-president. Well, sorry folks in the US, that one obviously aged quite badly, because you've got them back now. Alright, that's about enough for that one. Like I say, that is definitely one that I am going to have to revisit and do a Mark II for. I'll get round to it one of these days. Alright, what have I got next? Well, second most popular video wasn't actually one of mine at all. For some reason I had the bright idea of allowing my daughter to crash the channel. I got her to do one for us. Parents, you know how sometimes you just despair of your kids. Let's see. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm David, crafter and long-suffering parent. That's an understatement. We've got a review today with a guest reviewer, my daughter Goose. Not so long ago, Temu, one of the Asian marketplace internet companies. Now, I do appreciate that a lot of folks don't have a strong opinion, well sorry, they've got quite a strong opinion of Temu and some of their practices, but over here it is a very popular supplier and you can get an awful lot of really cheap stuff off them. Being in a country at the back end of the planet, we don't have the greatest supply chain, as I've said before about the XPS foam, and sometimes you've got to take what you can get. So if it's not everybody's cup of tea, fair enough, I fully appreciate your point of view. We are a little bit limited, sorry. Set up in New Zealand, and I grabbed a hot wire cutter from them. Now, she wanted to use it, so hey, she had one job. Let's get on with it. Right, one of the things I'm a little bit proud about, I actually composed that music. I can't remember what the name of the free software package was. As I said earlier, I learned that it was a good idea to actually give viewers an idea of the finished product, and so I took photos of a load of old projects, stitched them together, created some music, overlaid the top of it. That was the first piece that I composed. I've done a second one since then, but yeah, I am chuffed with that, I'll be perfectly honest. Sorry. Anyway, let's see what our ladyship's got to say. Okay, well, you wanted to use the stuff, hot wire cutter, get it assembled.
Typical. I move out of this place-ish. I stop living here and you're still like, do this for me.
You're the one that wants to borrow it.
As if you don't.
And do a proper review. Family bickering.
So in this beauty review we have this hot wire.
Could you actually hear that eye roll? I mean,
I don't know, it's a hot wire cutter. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Does it cut? Does it get hot?
I hope
is
so.
it easy to assemble? Well, we're going to find that out.
Maybe it's an Avengers level threat. I see complicated things. Okay, I think this is really badly translated. Cutter 1. Knowledge class. The foam cutting machine.
How come that was the fastest swimmer?
I'm not fine, Mum.
You know, well, we know that.
I love how I can like vaguely run a household by myself, but like I can't
Hang
put
on.
together like a screw and a plate.
Hang on. Run a household by yourself.
Maybe, wait, am I
You see what I have to put up with?
big brain? Oh my god, I think I am. But like, we still have a slight problem of not being able to work out the very first...
It's actually far more enjoyable critiquing somebody else than it is me. I'm enjoying this one. Well, just occur.
No,
The instructions are screw the sheep eye nail into the hole 4 of the plate.
Okay.
So that's the whole of plate 4. You can't screw that. So it became a metaphor for...
Okay, so maybe... So yeah, that's the wife. This was just a comedy of errors, it really was. God.
I think I need your help again.
Sister wives.
Okay.
Yeah, sister wives, another thing I've got to put up with.
Robin actually has tears.
She always does.
No. She fakes it. She has tears.
Okay. Fix the tension spring.
Did I need to know that? You expect it on a hot wire cutter to start off with.
Okay.
If we get black smoke and flames, then there may be an issue.
Did I start crying?
Okay. But you've got a test piece there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't... Yeah, okay, so she's not the most technically apt person you've ever come across. Oh, God. About £7 UK.
Because the exchange rate is shit right now.
Alright, that's enough of her. Love me daughter a bit, but sometimes I do despair. Alright, let's move on to something else. As I said earlier, doing these videos has become, I guess, part and parcel of the hobby for me. And while I do enjoy the finished product as much as I enjoy, you know, actually creating the models, the actual editing and that kind of thing can be a bit of a chore. And sometimes what you want to do is just have a little bit of a mess about. Now, the one I'm going to show you now is one where I had a decent amount of mess about, certainly with the start of it. On occasion I do, you know, short series of interconnected pieces. And this was a special one. This was just last year, and one of the games that I still support, even though it's out of print, is Terminator Genesis, the board game. And the guys on the message board for that set a challenge, and I quite happily took up the gauntlet. Part of the rules of the challenge were that you had to photo and submit your entries, and of course, rather than photo it, I videoed it. Let's see how I did. If you can hear this, if you can see this, you are the resistance. Cue bad acting on my part. Sorry. Told you I was messing about. Skynet became self-aware and used our own nukes against us. Blew most of the human race to kingdom come. Now it's created machines to finish the job. If you're to survive, you need to recognize them. The worst are the Terminators. Flesh and blood over a metal endoskeleton. You can't talk to them, you can't reason with them. They don't eat, they don't sleep. They're relentless. They won't stop coming until they get you. My name is not John Connor. Come with me if you want to play. Oh no, I don't think I did too bad a job of that one. I'm quite proud of that. Welcome aboard. It's now March and we are into the first part of the Terminator Genesis Slow Grow Force Creation Challenge. God, that was a mouthful. That Imperial insignia is going to have to go. And in this case, because GW does make their emblems very prominent, I'm actually carving it, and now I can get to scraping it flat. Yeah. So this would have been probably the start of more of the deviation and off into the miniature side of the hobby. Up until now, yes, it had generally just been terrain. I'd done a couple of painting videos, but this was, I believe, the first one where I was doing sort of more kit bashes and conversions. Certainly some of the later ones in the series, I get a little bit more heavily into conversions and things like that, and I've carried that on. But yeah, this is where all that kind of thing started. Yeah, that one certainly takes us back. That video was certainly a lot of fun to make. The start of it with the bad effects and the bad acting. But I was really chuffed with the whole of that one. Obviously managed to get 2 complete armies done and dusted over the course of 3 months, which was all part of the challenge, and it was really fun. Managed to come in second, got some prizes for it, so that was brilliant. Yeah, I think that's enough of a trip down memory lane for one day. Obviously there's a fair amount that I've scrubbed, because an awful lot of it is cringeworthy and words fail me. Realistically, quite how bad I was in the very early days. Could I have put out more videos? Yes, I could have. 100's not bad. Having a look back, there's huge gaps where I just wasn't feeling it, and real life was getting in the way and I wasn't into the hobby. There's definitely going to be more in the future. Even though I'll be perfectly honest, I still can't tell what kind of content you guys are after. Please, if there is anything, leave comments down below. A few of you have done so in the past, and I have picked up on that, and I've got stuff being planned for that. It will come, honestly, for those of you who have been with me since a few years back. Thank you very much for sticking around. It is greatly appreciated. And if you're seeing this for the first time, then please hit the subscribe button. It would be absolutely brilliant to get to 300 subscribers one day in the dim distant future. That's about enough for me. I don't think I can take much more of this one. I need to get back to some proper crafting. I need to get this one edited, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Ta-ra for now.